President Bola Ahmed Tinubu assigns portfolios to ministers. President Tinubu says all bottlenecks to ease business operations will be removed for investment. Plus, oil prices down on weaker growth in China. U.S. rate hikes jitters. The program is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Benny Adams, your guide. Good to have you join us. It's time to talk business. And following the screening and confirmation of the ministerial nominees by the Senate, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has assigned portfolios to those who scaled through to form his cabinet for a smooth operation of his administration. As we await their swearing in on Monday, here is the full list of the ministers and their portfolios.
Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani. Minister of State, Environment and Ecological Management, Ishaq Salako. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Wale Edun. Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Bumi Tijani. Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu. Minister of State, Health and Social Welfare, Tijani Alausa. Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake. Minister of Tourism, Lola Adejon. Minister of Transportation, Adeboyega Oyetola. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Doris Anite. Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Uche Nnaji. Minister of State, Labor and Employment, Nkiruka Onyejocha. Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy. Minister of Works, David Umahi. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Kemo. Minister of Youth, Abubakar Momo. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Peter Edu. Minister of State, Gas Resources, Ekberikpe Egbo. Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, Heniken Olokbobere. Minister of Sports Development, John Eno. Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. Minister of Art, Culture and the Creative Economy, Hanatu Musawa. Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru. Minister of State Defense, Bello Matawale. Minister of State Education, Yusuf Sunumu. Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa. Minister of State, Housing and Urban Development, Abdallah Gwarzo. Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu. Minister of State, Federal Capital Territory, Mary Mahmood. Minister of State, Water Resources and Sanitation, Bello Goronyo. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kiari. Minister of Education, Tahir Maman. Minister of Interior, Saidu Alkali. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tugar. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Ali Pate. Minister of Police Affairs, Ibrahim Gedam. Minister of State, Steel Development, Meigari Amadu. Minister of Steel Development, Shaibu Audu. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris. Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Latif Fagbemi. Minister of Labor and Employment, Simon Along. Minister of State, Police Affairs, Iman Suleiman Ibrahim. Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Zephaniah Jaselu. Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Joseph Usev. Minister of State Agriculture and Food Security, Aliu Sabi Abdullahi.
And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Wednesday in Abuja assured investors that his ongoing repositioning of the economy will receive a boost as he conducts an intensified removal of all bottlenecks in the way of efficient business startup and administration in Nigeria, with particular emphasis on efficiency in service, tax reviews, and improved security. Receiving Ade Adiola, Managing Director of Energy and National Resources in Europe, Africa and Middle East for Standard Chartered Bank, President Tinubu said his administration was already working hard on making a difference in attracting investment, and the president told the delegation that tax reforms are being undertaken with close observance of best practices across the globe, which will favor businesses for collective prosperity of the nation. For Adiola, the bank had been committed to enabling businesses and investment in Nigeria for many years, while focusing on energy and natural resources with huge portfolio in funding for oil and gas industry. Adiola told the president that the bank supports investment of about $2 to $3 billion annually. Now, the youth can actively participate in Nigeria's export value chain with so many untapped potentials. This follows the launch of Youth for Export program, which also aims at driving sustainable economic growth and foreign exchange earnings for the country. Comfort Amadu reports that the initiative, which has been launched in Abuja, is a collaboration between NEPC and trade partners.
Nigerian's non-oil export has seen an increase in export performance, revenue base, foreign exchange earnings, and enhanced regional integration in recent times. It's a trajectory that the government is keen to sustain for economic growth and production capacity, with MSMEs, particularly youths, venturing into trade and export. However, the bureaucracy of business documentation and procedures, lack of funding and limited access to market has often proved to be a challenge for youths in business. This explains launch of the Youth for Export program, YEP, by the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, NEPC, to turn the situation around through the Nigerian Exporters Hub, Next Hub.
In the long run, we hope that a lot of jobs will be created and the incessant case of social unrest, instability, and youth restiveness will be curbed.
We want to handhold you and teach you how to export. What to export, how to export, where to export, and we will give you off-takers.
The NEPC is also working with the National Youth Service Corps and other implementing partners to deepen the impact of YEP, designed to empower youths and bridge the knowledge gap of youths in export business.
I am pleased to report that some of our core members have already taken advantage of this opportunity by exporting 3 containers of ginger to China.
Already, the youths have taken to the program with keen interest, promising to leverage its opportunities as the government mainstream youth participation in non-oil exports.
We have some specific agro-commodities that are exportables. So with Next Hub, exportation is seamless.
YEP is also designed to connect youths in business to NEPC vertical strategic plan of export for survival initiatives in Abuja, Comfort, and Modu.
Still talking economic growth with available white-collar jobs not enough to cater for the teeming population. It is expected that green transition will create additional 8.4 million jobs by 2030. This, the United Nations say, can happen if young people are given the opportunity. And as the clock continues to wind down with 7 years to go, Olayinka Ojo in this special report takes a look at what young people are doing towards achieving this vision.
Today, we see young people aspiring to join careers that have positive impact on the environment. And at different fora to mark International Youth Day this year, it was all about equipping youths with skills for the green economy.
Have an intersection between what you do, either you are an engineer, a tailor, a caterer, whatever you do. Have a way to intersect it with an eco-friendly practice.
Prioritize new initiatives and new ideas for better development and better sustainability.
Look inwards. The solution to your challenges are here in Nigeria.
Going by United Nations statistics, 60% of young people do not have necessary skills to thrive in the green economy by 2030.
Let today serve as a reminder that young people are catalysts for change. Let us ensure that they have the support, skills, and the freedom they need to lead us to a better tomorrow.
We have to develop our national skill anticipation system for young people to see that, okay, in social period, there are some skills that will be needed.
Esther Oyewale is a 300-level student studying education, fine and applied arts at the University of Benin, who ventured into turning waste to wealth.
I'm doing waste to wealth because I was thinking of how can I create art and solving problems together. So I thought, okay, I can pick fabrics from my environment and create something beautiful out of it. So that was when this came into my mind, and that also came into my mind.
Even though the United Nations report says the green transition will favor male-dominated youths, for some experts in youths, there's the need for a scale-up of action that will increase youth employment, not just in Nigeria, but the continent at large. Olayinka Ojo.
Thank you, Olayinka, for that in-depth reportage. Now, with the many impacts of climate change on the economy, the environment, and youth across the continent, experts are of the opinion that going green is in Nigeria's best interest, and that it is a strategic choice which, if fully pursued, can allow Nigeria to take advantage of an emerging global push towards low-carbon economies. The Nigerian green economy is estimated at about $250 billion in investment opportunities in critical sectors, including energy, transportation, infrastructure, manufacturing, agriculture, and land use. And commendably, Nigeria has consistently shown good reliance towards climate change initiatives, among other bold steps. And Nigeria is committed to achieving net zero emissions by 2060. Now, recent policies and laws have equally been sensitive to climate change, given Nigeria's commitment. For instance, the Climate Change Act 2021 introduced a carbon tax, emission trading, and other environmentally friendly initiatives, and more. And according to Oliver Greenfield, the convener of the Green Economy Coalition, the green wave is rising and will wash away the old fossil-driven economy. This is the focus on the program this morning, and I have joining us to dissect the topic, Ubong Ita. He is the CEO of Kobo Accountant, who is also joining us from Kigali. How is Kigali this morning?
Kigali is fantastic, green, bright, calm, quiet, as usual. It's clean and green, actually.
Great. We hope to replicate that in Nigeria, and that's why we're talking about this morning. Okay, to start with, where would you say Nigeria is as far as green economy is concerned? Don't compare us with Kigali.
Okay, I'm going to try as much as possible not to do that. I mean, as you just said, the government has sort of made, certain moves towards going green in Nigeria. We can commend them for that, right? But obviously, there's always a gap between the plan and then execution, right? Which I think is something that we maybe would have to sort of double up on, if I may say. So I would say that Nigeria isn't too far behind. I mean, because even in the VC space, people are looking at green financing. So there is actually, venture capital looking at your alignment with SDGs and how, that sort of tunes into the green economy. So I would say Nigeria, we still have some way to go, not too long. But I mean, I think we're on a good path already with, some of the policies and the strategic frameworks that are already in place.
Okay, good to have confirmed that Nigeria is actually on the path. And with this move towards a net zero and the beginning of the green economy, what will be the possible impact of this to the labor market? And what industrial strategy do you think is required to meet these objectives, to make it actually practical, aside from what we have on the books as regulations or as prospects? What are those things to be done to move from prospects to reality?
Okay. I mean, for job creation, I mean, it's already pretty much, it's a no-brainer. Green economy is basically going to create a lot of job opportunities. We looked at the skill acquisition part there, where it creates an entire spectrum of work for young people to get in, learn new skills and execute, right? There's a lot of financing for, green within the green economy. So if you're sort of aiming towards going green, there are a lot of incentives even within the United Nations for that already. So I would say in terms of job, the magnitude is great, because there is heavy impact on that. For practical steps that we can move from, the plan, the policy to full implementation, I would say that it has to become a somewhat thing at the federal character level, where, I mean, if you come here, for example, the Rwandan government, it is not just policies, it's basically a way of life, a culture. There are fines, there are laws, the incentive that drive, the green economy here. I'm going to use one quick case to buttress it. So, I also do agriculture here, and we're setting up, a bubble tea project here. And, my partner had mistakenly ordered single-use cups, the plastic cups, and then we found out that, the government frowns totally towards it, and we had to find a way to, return and get our money back. So beyond just writing policies, we have to start implementing, executing, and there has to be a lot of public awareness, especially selling the benefits even to the environment itself. We've seen floods in recent times. We've seen, the fire incidents, across, in America and other parts of Europe. So I think that for us, it has to move to public awareness, sensitization, and getting to adopt the framework a lot more.
Well, I can see your environment, though no comparisons, what is happening in Uganda and Nigeria. I can see your environment is looking very green and crystal clear. When you talk about implementing the green, we're talking about implementing the green economy. Aside having the knowledge on this initiative, finance is another angle to it. And we also understand that there are a lot of international donor agencies, international development partners, development finance institutions providing huge funds for this initiative, for those who want to venture into it. Can you give us a tidbit or maybe some sort of insight as to how people who want to venture into this can actually tap resources, not just knowledge-wise, but also finance-wise, to ensure that this is actualized?
Okay, fantastic. So, as I sort of highlighted earlier, the UN framework is sort of very optimized for financing. There is a lot of encouragement to, VC companies, to fund green projects. And there are funds literally set aside for this. And once you get into that framework, what you need to do is highlight that you're, a green enthusiast and you're, driving the green economy within your framework. And I would guarantee you that a lot of venture-backed, green companies out there that are available to give you money. You can also reach out to, UN programs, try to attend projects around the green economy, and make sure you're networking and selling what you're doing within that space. But for free, I would tell you this, that any company that is within the green economic space and is driving sustainability, sustainable development, sustainable growth that doesn't, hurt the society. If you're in the recycling and upcycling space, there are a lot of funds available to you. So all you have to do is, be on the lookout, align with programs that, drive events and activities within that economy, and you would be able to access funds. The opportunities are all over the place. I would say that.
Okay, Ubong Ita, CEO, Kobo accountant. We are going to be tapping into some of your Kobos to ensure that we realize the green economy in our environment. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us at this point in time.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, great. Now moving on, gold at a 5-month low as rallying U.S. yields buster dollar. Let's see how other commodities are trading around the world. And now the NTA Limited and Afrexim Bank have jointly signed a commitment letter and term sheet for an emergency $3 billion crude oil repayment loan. The signing, which took place at the bank's headquarters in Cairo, Egypt, will provide some immediate disbursement that will enable NNPC Limited support the federal government in its ongoing fiscal and monetary policy reforms aimed at stabilizing the exchange rate. And as equities market opened for trading today, we bring you information on how the market extended bearish sentiment midweek as the all-share index shed 0.47% to close session at 64,928.98 basis points. A total of 280.4 million securities valued at 4.6 billion naira exchange hands in 6,296 deals. The data at the closing session showed 8% improvement in volume, 10% improvement in turnover, and 7% improvement in deals. And the market capitalization declined to 35.3 trillion naira. And on the global scene, European markets lower after Fed officials hint at further rate hikes. For more on global market updates, NECA is standing by to give us details.
Hello and welcome to Global Market Review. Asia Pacific markets extended their losses on Thursday after the U.S. Federal Reserve showed that inflation concerns lingered, which could lead to more rate hikes. In Japan, the Nikkei 225 was down 0.44%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index was also down 0.64%, while the Shanghai Composite was up 0.13%. In Europe, markets opened lower. The DAX in Germany declined 0.82%. UK's FTSE was down 0.5%, while the French CAC was also down by 0.68%. U.S. stock futures were near flat early Thursday morning as Wall Street continues to suffer a rocky month. The Dow Jones Industrial Average added 49 points. S&P 500 was marginally positive, while Nasdaq Composite pointed downwards. And back home, African markets, early figures from African markets point to a mixed open this Thursday. The JSE Africa Top 40 is marginally positive, while Namibia's overall index is pointing downwards. And that's Global Market Review. I am Neka Oko.
Thank you, Neka, for that update. And this is where we wrap up this edition of Business Express. We value your feedback, so keep the comments, observations, and suggestions coming. Be informed that our previous episodes are available on YouTube on NTA's channel. Business Express returns Friday at 3 p.m. I am Benny Adams saying, God bless Nigeria.